Hey there guys, in today's video we are going to continue customizing our ultimate Parrot play gym. So I've had a lot of requests for ways to incorporate different things that aren't PVC. So in today's video we are going to cover how to do natural wood perches or any other standalone perches that you have that you might normally include in your bird's cage, but also feeding and water bowls. So if that is something you want to know how to add to your ultimate Parrot play gym, go ahead and stick around because that's going to be coming up right after this. Hey there guys, this is Jack over at Hybrid Bird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. And at this point, can you guys even see me anymore? Our ultimate Parrot play gym is becoming truly a giant masterpiece, which I do like to showcase because there are a lot of people who think I'm not going to be able to build something like this. You know, that's going to be far too difficult for me. And you guys can see how with just a few simple modifications, you can build something that is completely custom for your needs, is exactly the size and shape that you need it to be for your space, is easy to do, and is going to be hours of fun for your bird. Now, I have gotten a couple requests for some different modifications to make to this, other things people would like to see, and we are working on those. But one of the things that I wanted to cover today is probably the most requested thing, and that is going to be because of the nature of what we are building. So we are building out of PVC pipe. I am using 3/4 inch PVC pipe for this demonstration with 3/4 inch PVC slip fittings, and it all comes together very, very easily. It's definitely something I would recommend for somebody who has never built anything before. You are going to be able to make this happen. Now, that good side also does translate into a negative in that all of the perching is going to be a little bit monotonous. It's all going to be the same size. Here it's going to be 3/4 inch PVC pipe. Now, ultimately, when I finish this off with vet wrap or grinding, and those are both going to be techniques that we cover in a later video, you know, if I include things like the fittings, I will get a little more variety for a bird foot, but that's still going to be pretty much about the same. So one of the things I wanted to cover is how to incorporate other perches. And if you don't have any other perches that are made to just attach to the side of a cage, I actually did a video on how to build your own natural wood perches. So that's going to be something you can do. You can do that with untreated lumber as well. So if you're going to the hardware store to get your parts to build something out of PVC, you can just pick up some small pieces of bird-safe, untreated lumber as well. All the materials you need are going to be the same as in that video, and you can build perches like that as well. Now, since we're doing that, that's also going to give us the opportunity, the exact same way that we're going to include those perches, we are going to be able to add some food and water bowls. So if you want this stand to be something where your bird can stay for hours at a time, we're going to be covering that. So we are going to cover those two different techniques which are highly requested. I would want to make the joke about hitting two birds with one stone, but honestly on this channel we're not going to joke about hitting birds with stones because that's just not going to be funny. So let's just go ahead and jump into how we're going to put that together. Alright guys, now to build this there are just a few things that you are going to need. Obviously if you're wanting to attach a natural wood perch or a food or water bowl, you are going to need a natural wood perch or a food or water bowl. But they're all going to be attached the same way. So the first thing we're going to need some PVC couplings. You want those to be slip fitting couplings. They may also be called solvent fitting couplings. Basically, you want to make sure that they are not threaded on the inside. They're just going to slip right onto your PVC pipe. We are going to need some eye bolts. Now you want to make sure that you get eye bolts that are not too long, especially in this situation. You know, earlier we did a video where we built toy hangers out of the end caps, and we could use longer eye bolts there, and it would just be absorbed into the length of the PVC pipe. On this, we're not going to have that option. So you want to make sure that your eye bolt can secure to the outside and isn't going to go all the way through your PVC pipe. For the purpose of this, I'm using 2-inch eye bolts. Now those eye bolts are going to typically come with their own hardware, a nut that you can use to secure it. I'm going to recommend that you don't use that. Instead, I'm going to recommend that you guys get nylon threaded locking nuts. Now, there's going to be a couple of reasons why you want to use those. So what we're trying to do, I thought I pre-drilled one of these, but I did. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want that secured all the way in there with the nylon threaded bolt on the inside. Obviously, we are then going to secure our PVC on either side of it. And when we're fully done, you may want to glue this together to give you added security. The problem, if you use the regular locking nut as your bird bounces up and down on this, as they play with the perch, as they play with their food bowl, they will cause it to gradually let go of that bolt, and eventually your eye bolt will fall out, the nut will be left somewhere on the interior, and you're going to have a really hard time putting that back together. If you use a nylon threaded locking nut, you are not going to have that issue. I am using a stainless steel nylon threaded locking nut, but the good thing is your bird still won't even have access to that. So the main concern I would have is if a bird started to try to pick at that little bit of nylon, which is not likely, but could happen, but it shouldn't be an issue in this application. Now, in order to be able to secure that locking nut onto that eye bolt, we are going to be using a pair of needle nose pliers. Now, obviously, you could use a wrench or a socket set if you have it, but working inside the confines of PVC cuttings, those tools can be a little bit difficult to handle. So the needle nose pliers are what I keep coming back to time and time again. I promise they work the best for me for a variety of different applications. Now, you're also going to need a drill, and you're going to need a drill bit. And unfortunately, I can't tell you guys what size that drill bit is, because that is the one that I use for making all of these toys, and I have worn off the part on the bit where it told you what size it was. Now, what you want to look for in your drill bit, you want it to be wider than the shaft of your eye bolt. You want that eye bolt to be able to fit into that PVC very, very nicely. But you want the locking nut to be thicker than your drill bit, because you don't want the locking nut to be able to squeeze through and fit through that PVC. So get your drill bit bigger than the eye bolt, smaller than the locking nut, you will be fine. It doesn't matter exactly what size it is, as long as it fits within those criteria. So what we're going to start off with doing is we are going to go ahead, insert our drill bit. Now, due to the magic of television, I already have one pre-drilled, but if you don't, you are going to want to be very, very, very careful with this. This is actually one of the ways that you have the potential to injure yourself or damage things, because you are not drilling onto a flat surface. The coupling is going to have a tendency to roll. So my recommendation is to go very, very, very slowly, very controlled. And once it goes through, go ahead and just pull it back. Now, as you can see, I don't really push onto the drill bit while I am doing that. I pretty much let the weight of the drill do all the work. Now, you are going to want to clean up all of those little plastic pieces. And when you go slower, you're going to create a lot more little plastic debris. But again, I can use my needle nose pliers, go at an angle, and just sort of clean up those lines. I'll also use my fingernail. It works really well, but I am an animal caretaker. I take care of animals all day. I'm not necessarily concerned about the state of my manicure. If you guys have nicer nails, you may want to find another way to do that, maybe a small piece of sandpaper, but you just want to get those little plastic bits off. For birds in captivity, chewing on plastic is an issue of concern, because most of the impaction issues, or a lot of the issues that birds in captivity have, are going to be from ingesting plastic pieces. So you just want to make sure that you don't give your bird something that looks like a potential toy or potential food that they should want to chew on. Obviously, this is going to be much, much sturdier, not as much of a concern. Now, all we're going to do to make this happen, we're going to take our eye bolt. We're going to go ahead and put it inside the PVC coupling. Now, you'll notice that there is only the hole on one side. We did not drill all the way through. You could do that if you wanted to or if you needed to because you had a longer eye bolt. But what's that going to do is give your bird access to the locking nut. And what we're trying to do here is avoid it. So I wanted the locking nut to be secured inside the PVC coupling. So I'm going to go ahead and get this into place. And I will warn you guys right now, that initial lining up in the first few threads are going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. But as soon as you get that started, if you can get it started, now you can see my tendency to want to record things directly so that you guys can see exactly how difficult they are, how long they take, is starting to bite me in the butt. But there we go. So you can see I've got it, that eye bolt on there. I can hand tighten it just a little bit. Now all I'm going to do is grab on to that locking nut with my needle nose pliers. So you can see they fit in there pretty nicely. And all I'm going to do is make sure I'm going the right direction. Just grab the eye bolt and tighten it until it is as tight as I want it to be. Now, because it is a locking nut, it is going to be a little bit more of a workout than a normal situation. But remember, that is what you want. You want this to be very, very secure so that your bird doesn't have the opportunity to bounce around, to unscrew it. Honestly, I have cockatoos that it's not even their actual movement. It's that they seem to delight in undoing things. So if I do it this way, that is now going to be very, very secure. Now you can tighten that down until it's completely locked in that position, or you can just have it tightened to where, you know, I have a little bit of twist there, but that is not going anywhere. So let me go ahead and show you guys how we're going to attach this to our PVC play gym. All right, guys, so now for any time that we are building anything on our PVC Parrot play gym, you are going to want to grab your trusty PVC cutters. Now we are going to be adding couplings to be able to accommodate the branches or the feed bowl. So what you're going to want to do is take a look at your stand and figure out where exactly you would want those things to be. For a feed bowl, usually I am going to want it to be somewhere where it's not directly over other pieces of perching because birds have a tendency to throw their food all over the place. So what I think is going to be a really good place for it is going to be this perch that we have right here. It is currently over that, but the nice thing, since that is not currently glued in place, I can twist this, and now it's not. So that's going to be where we're going to secure our food bowl. So all I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go ahead and cut into this one. Since this is a freestanding perch, this is all I have to do for this. I am going to add my newly made coupling that includes that eye bolt. I am going to add the end of that perch back on. And now I am just going to take this detachable feed bowl. You'll find these in pet stores. They're made to be attached to the sides of cages. Maybe you have a cage that doesn't have good food or water bowls. Maybe you want to include more feeding stations. Maybe you want to include a bath for birds that don't have a big enough space. But you're going to find these pretty readily. And normally they are built to be secured to the side of the cage. All we're going to do in this instance is we are going to secure it to the underside of that PVC. So on this instance, you're going to want your couplings to be on a horizontal perch, and you're going to want the eye bolt to be directly underneath. That's going to give you the best option for securing this. And just go hand tighten it. You obviously don't want to crack the plastic or anything, but just go until it holds on. And now you're going to have the option. You can add and take out food and water. I like using these because if these get dirty, you can take the cups off, you can throw them in the dishwasher, and it's going to be a really sanitary way to provide your bird food and water. So that's going to be one thing that we can do. And since this isn't glued into place, I'm going to take that guy off so you guys can see me a little bit clearer right now. Now, another option is going to be to add it just about anywhere if you want to do a perch, because perches can go anywhere. So you can do the same thing horizontal with the eye bolt underneath. If you want to do a couple of those so that you can move your food bowls around, you'll have options. And you can secure that so that perch goes right under there. But you can also do things like the diagonal perches. You can have things coming off of them. You can do the vertical perches and have them going sideways. You can see here we have this one made out of PVC. We could do the same thing on the other side. But I am not going to be using the freestanding perches for this. I'm going to be using ones that are tied into the whole rest of the structure. So like we've done before, we're just going to want to make our cuts along all the perches that are on the same. So basically all of our, either left and right, front to back, or up and down perches, whatever angle you're wanting to go. If that ties into your other parts, you're going to want to go ahead and make a cut. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to secure that perch just right up here. So this is where I want to make that cut for this coupling, but that means I'm also going to have to make a cut down here as well to accommodate that extra length. Now this is, of course, if you have already put your PVC play gem together. If you haven't, if you are planning it out, you can go ahead and plan on a coupling here, and then you know that this piece of PVC pipe needs to be a little bit wider. But this is going to be a really, really, really easy way to go ahead and do this. Now, since I'm going to have this here, I'm going to want just a plain coupling that I can go ahead and attach to there. I'm also going to need to do the base pieces, but unfortunately our play gem is getting so big that it's a little bit hard to show that to you guys. So what I'm going to tell you is think about your play gem in terms of axes. So we have left to right, up and down, front to back. You want to go ahead and take a look at what else is tied into it. So the two side braces that are also going this same way, I'm going to want to add a coupling to them. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to take our perch, and we are going to add this the exact same way that we did the food bowl. The eye bolt is going to give us the opportunity to just go ahead and secure that right onto there. Now with perches, you do get a lot more options because you don't have to worry about, them being the right way up, because there is no right way up with a perch. So I can show you that in just a second. So if I do it this way, that wooden perch is then going to be a step down from this PVC pipe. But if I wanted to go ahead and flip that around, and because I haven't glued it down yet, I can, I can also make it where that is a step up instead of a step down. So you do want to go ahead and think about things like that. Until you glue this together, you have a lot of options. So I definitely encourage you guys to try this out. So if you like this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead, give me a like, comment and let me know what is your favorite feature so far that we have added to our PVC Parrot Play Gem. I do want to thank you guys so much for watching these videos. Please subscribe if you haven't already so you never miss out on a video. And thank you so much for watching. All right, I do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Red Bird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!